What's up, chat? Just got my internet back again for the second time today. Sounds like you're also in the boat of unstable internet. Remember, guys, cherish your internet while you still have it. We probably have about 10 more years of internet before all the governments conspire to just take everything away. And you won't be able to browse anything without submitting your official government sanctioned ass rape ID. You progressing on the new place summer should be hitting by now? Yeah, it is getting hot. I have to basically scout out the location first, and I haven't done that. There's a bunch of shit that I was planning to do, like adult shit that I was planning to do, and I've done none of it. I'm just not a very productive person. I will always draw no matter what. However, anything else, I probably won't do it unless it's like absolutely fucking, you know, mandatory of my... If I don't do it, the government will come and fuck my ass unless it's in that kind of situation. I'm probably not gonna do it. It's just a lot of energy for me to do anything. I have successfully not bought really anything that is gonna be a pain in the ass to move from one apartment to a new apartment at least. It isn't actually that hot yet in my area of Japan. It's just like super humid. But we haven't even hit the June rainy months yet, so it could get way worse before it gets better. I don't know. How bad could it possibly be? I say. Well, I know exactly how bad it could be. You're also by the ocean, so that helps a little for now. The reason why I'm planning on moving to Choshi, which is in Chiba, is because it's cool because it's next to the Pacific Ocean, but because it's a peninsula. So I'm currently in the next to the ocean, but it's the inland sea, so you don't really get the Pacific currents, which I think is what reduces the temperature. So it's still pretty hot. It still gets breeze. The worst I had in terms of Japanese summers was actually earlier as a kid when I was growing up in Kyoto for about 2 years and stuff. Kyoto is surrounded on all sides by fucking mountains, so it doesn't even get even the most basic breeze. It's just like stale, humid air non-stop. It's fucking unbearable. Settle on a spot. I have to visit it first, but I'm thinking of going to Chiba. There's the Choshi is the most eastern area of Japan. It's just like a peninsula, and it was coming up on most of the lists of places that you can go to in the summer to stay cool. Apparently it never gets above like 30 degrees Celsius during the summer, so we're gonna find out when I go there, I guess. Day trip on the horizon? I don't know, man. It takes quite a bit of time to get to Chiba. I'm wondering how I should go. The cheapest way would be to take overnight bus for like a few thousand yen. But considering I was so stressed out by being next to ugly bastard Oji-san in the hospital that fucking gave me prosthesis, I think maybe I shouldn't push myself. And just take a bullet train. Just take cheap flight from Osaka to Tokyo and take train there. You can't really... Well, you can take a train. You have to take bus at some point. The plane might be cheaper than Shinkansen train, but I'm not even sure. I have to check the prices and stuff. Are you feeling all anyway? I was able to successfully come yesterday, at least. It felt like I had a rope tied around my testicles, though, so I don't think I'm completely in the clear yet. My ass bleeding has almost stopped. I think the surgery was a success. I'm not going to go to Chiba because I'm still seeing the doctor. I have one more appointment in June. And once he gives me the all clear, then I might, I'll start considering going places, but actually, depending on the airport, let me think. Let's actually pull up Google Maps right now. Depending on the airport, it might be both cheaper and closer to that location in Chiba, because if it flies from my location to either Haneda Airport or Narita Airport. Narita Airport is in Chiba, so let's see. Plane prices seem relatively similar. The plane is an hour and 25 minutes. So if we look at the maps, this is the Narita Airport right here. And Choshi, which is where I'm planning to go to, is just right fucking here. So it's probably way closer than just going to It is closer than going to Tokyo. You just fly to Narita. And then the transportation is how... The question is, you're going to have to get some kind of bus to get me to Choshi, and that might take a bunch of time. But this is where I'm trying to go to right here. Coastal city on Cape Inubo in Chiba Prefecture, home to a large fishing port. It has a population of about 60,000, but why I'm thinking of going there is because it's a peninsula, so the Pacific currents going here produces these colder temperatures than everywhere in Tokyo, just by having it on like the edge. And because it's on the far eastern edge, it doesn't get a lot of the problems that come from the Chinese weather systems, like the yellow sand and stuff like that. A bus with OGs? I can handle a bus with OGs for short periods of time. I just don't think I can handle it for like 6 hours in the middle of the night. It's the middle of the night thing. See, a lot of Japanese shit is built around the fact that Japanese people can basically sleep anywhere whenever they want, but I ain't built like that. I don't know. Japanese people just have way higher tolerance towards stress than me. The stress of being around other human beings. They just get crushed by other people and still fall asleep on the train, and I don't know, man. That's probably why they have such shitty work culture. You're what they call a hot house flower, and that's okay. You use that term for beautiful Ojo-san who have to live in their sheltered lifestyle with their butlers and stuff. You don't talk about it in terms of ugly bastard 40-year-old Oji-san drawing anime girls at home. These things are not the same. Actually, you would make an epic house husband. Don't count yourself short. No, I wouldn't, because my allergy to being around people also extends to my wife and kids if they existed, so... The only situation in which I would make an epic house husband is if we're lowering the standards to extremely low points, where we're like, as long as he doesn't drink and gamble, that's good. Even when I'm around, like, people that I like, in which I don't have to do some serious self-censorship, it's still exhausting to me. Like, I have to go and isolate myself after being in contact with, say, when my father visits back when I was in America. Just like 2 or 3 days of talking to my father was already too much for me. And I had to go on into like a darkened room and self-isolate just by doing that. I knew that I was in trouble when, I don't know, do you guys like fantasize? Well, of course I shouldn't even ask that. I shouldn't even ask this. Of course you guys fantasize about various anime girls being your girlfriend and stuff, right? I knew I was in trouble at one point when I started to realize that even in like best case fantasy scenarios, I didn't want to have like the cutest, most perfect anime girlfriend around me when I was like entering fantasy mode. And at some point I was like, man, I'm not sure even if I have like a 10 out of 10 perfect anime girl, I want them to be around. Social battery too low to be around my retarded Black Lives Matter cousins who already think I'm a race traitor. Too much information. If you're willing to say even like slightly controversial opinions regarding race politics as a black person in America, you can probably make a bunch of money from the Fox News crowd and stuff by basically being Jason Whitlock of various things. The professional Uncle Tom position, if you're just like, blacks in America have higher crime rates per capita, then all your liberal friends will be like, no, you can't say that! And all the Fox News commentators were like, see, we said so! It was completely justified to vote for Trump, LMAO. Your fantasies don't work as reality? I mean, it's not even that. It's like, even in the fantasy best case scenario version of women, like once I start imagining having one around me frequently, living in an apartment together, I'm like, oh shit, that's too much people. The only reason I was able to coexist with my mother is because she was busy working all the time and she would just leave me alone. Just get Relina and be perpetually rude to her like Hero? Was Hero autistic? I'm guessing he was, considering he was basically told that if anything goes wrong, he has to self-destruct. And he was like, okay, sounds like a plan. And in the preceding scenarios, whenever anything would go wrong, he would immediately be like, try and slam the self-destruct button. Hiro Yui was incredibly autistic. It's also important to remember that he was hot, which is the only thing that's truly important if you're a teenage girl. The amount of Tard wrangling that Duo has to do in Gundam Wing is just, it's fucking tragic watching it. The designers of the characters of Gundam Wing will be like, okay, we'll have 5 hot boys and we'll also attach 5 hot women who are like in an antagonistic situation with them, so women can fantasize of having guys trying to murder them. And then let's make 3 out of the 5 of the boys autistic. The main boy will be incredibly autistic. We'll also have another boy who's autistic, so he never says anything, and another boy who's autistic and like probably has ADHD and also is Chinese, and nobody will like him because he has a weird hairstyle. Duo on constant Janny duty, he really is. It's ironic that the one who has the most autistic and chuny of all the Gundam setups being like, I am the Shinigami god of death using my scythe, is also the one who has to do all the tard wrangling. A generation of anime fangirls lost their shit over an autistic teenager who wore nothing but tank tops. Was really Gundam Wing the primary source of girls of that era, though? What was like the #1 like dreamy boy for 13-year-old girls who were watching shit in real time? I mean, we didn't even have that many other anime options, so... Was there Yu Yu Hakusho for American audiences at that time? I feel like Hiei and Kurama might be like top tier for girls being like, oh my god, he's so cool. Although Kurama isn't that popular, I think. He's more of a gay coupling type. Gene never caught on. He's too shonen protag pilled, I think. Oh, I know what it's probably what's his name? Yashamaru. The bad boy brother of Inuyasha. What was his name? Was it Sesshomaru? I can't remember what his name was. Sesshomaru, yes. Yashamaru is the monkey in Baki, I believe. No, Yashamaru is a random ass Naruto character. AI overview. Yashamaru is a highly recognizable anime character. LOLOL LMAO. No, he's not. Bitch, nobody remembers tragic backstory Bishonen who dies tragically in Gaara's Naruto flashback arc. Every girl had one friend who obsessed over Sesshomaru. So Sesshomaru is the exact same energy as having Hiro Yui show up and tear up your fucking letter to come to your birthday and be like, I'm gonna kill you. And then all the girls watching that, their vaginas immediately start secreting mucus to prepare for copulation and impregnation by this bad boy. They're like, Kyun Kyun, oh my god, he says he's gonna murder me. I have to copulate with him right now. Sessho Maru had the hot voice too, good shit. There's definitely more Sessho Maru stans among the female community than there was Inuyasha fans, 100%. Which of course makes sense because, I mean, who wants a boy whose entire appeal is being controlled with the magical dog collar and being forced to sit all the time? It's like those incel dating advice that's like, women may say they like a nice boy, but in reality they like a bad boy. As soon as she sees you as vulnerable and you expose your feelings to her, she will pretend to be nice to you, but she'll immediately see you as weak and unfuckable. I don't know if that's true in real life, but when anime consumer females see Inuyasha be Kagome's bitch all day and be forced to sit on the ground, their vaginas get extremely dry. But when they see Sessho Maru be like, I'm gonna kill you, they're like, oh, that's so hot. Going this year as Sanji to support my friend. He kills people without remorse. Kyun Kyun kawaii. It's okay, we already did all the hard work by pondering if the ideal route for women is to raise the bad boy's child with a rich boy. Nothing is more unpleasant than saying cucking could be the peak of natural selection. This really says a lot about society. Bottom text. They hated the incels because the incels spoke the truth. I would not guess that you can pull off Sanji costume. She probably can't, but she's gonna try anyways. To properly pull off Sanji costume, you have to be a young Steve Buscemi and also be like super tall and be smoking all the time. I would complain that Sanji supposedly being a good cook and then smoking all the time is bad because it ruins your taste buds smoking. However, that is also super common in the cooking industry, so being a chain-smoking alcoholic is just like standard cook behavior, so this is the 4Kids version. Lollipop. Okay. Also, no, don't kill me! I'm gonna give it to him with this nondescript object. I can't even remember what it looks like. The gun that is not allowed to exist. Four kids, one piece gun. Oh, it's like a shower. It's like a fucking shower handle. He's gonna bonk him with this extremely weirdly constructed tool. Holy shit, he has a fucking super soaker. Gotta love that stuff. No, not the blood! Oh! In Yu-Gi-Oh! They were just pointing their fingers. When you're just sending someone to the Shadow Realm, that's all you need to do. He's gonna shower him, fitting for a convention setting, to be honest. If you shower, will you die? It would be extremely painful. The humiliation of asking otaku to shower so they can... or they won't be allowed to enter the convention center or the card trading shop. Never forget the humiliation that you have suffered at the hands of the soap users. They banned the deodorant guy? What? Was there someone who was, like, forcing people to take deodorant when they entered the convention, but then, like, that was too offensive, so they stopped him? Because that's pretty fucking funny. Was the meme too on point for their otaku fan base? Reminds me of the dude taking pictures with all the exposed ass cracks. What a legend. Sounds like a different type of low angler. You know, I don't really get fandom as a whole. The reason why I like shit like anime and manga is because it allows me to escape to a world in which I'm not plagued by the horrors of modern society and like other people, in which I'm the main character and I can enjoy a fantasy in which everything is going to work out for me. So the whole experience of taking that and being like, I want to go to a location with like a million other people who are all ugly, fat bastards like myself, where everything smells horrible and the human body is just emitting all sorts of sweat and stuff like that. That's like the opposite example of the reason why I like stuff like anime in the first place. I guess it's just me being antisocial, but I thought that our escapist entertainment is supposed to be an escape from reality. The whole point of escapist media is I want to be alone in my room with the lights turned off, with the air conditioning on. Right? Who the fuck wants to go to a hot, sweaty convention center? AX hasn't been tolerable for well over a decade. I was lucky to experience it before it became a total shit show. The yaoi paddles. See, I have to even search it offline. They were a novelty item that were sold primarily at Western anime conventions in the 2000s. They were used by attendees as props for cosplay. I like how the Wikipedia article of it has these absolute units of females cosplaying as Chunin Naruto characters. If anyone is questioning me whether I will ever go to anime conventions, this photo right here basically tells me all I need to know. The horrifying part is that these people are going to have a ton of sex at this convention this weekend. All of these people in this yaoi panels picture are going to have... Actually, some of the women up top are slightly more attractive than the two that they have at the bottom. But it's crazy to think that these people are all going to have lots of, like, wild sex with people they met at the convention. Ugly people have way more sex than the 9s and the 10s. I don't know if they have more sex, but the best advice that you can give someone who is trying to ask you, like, how do you have sex? The best advice is lower your standards. If you can lower your standards, then, yeah, you can have lots of sex. That's another reason why I don't have sex, is because I have extremely high beauty standards, because my entire life is just about me pursuing, like, the best looking lines and shapes and forms and stuff like that. So it starts to... I've become very selective of how things look like, and if it doesn't look like how I want it to look like in my brain, I'm immediately turned off. Doing ket or lines in hotel rooms. Did they have ketamine back then, though? I feel like that's more of a new thing. My one friend was a chubby chaser who'd go to conventions mainly to get with the 1s and 2s since it was basically free and easy. Once again, the professional slam pig fuckers are they're really getting it on with the plap hogs out there. If we could all only be as strong as him. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm like that. My enjoyment of being alone is so high. You have to really offer quite a lot. Thanks for the sub, Dankly Weebs. 46 months, holy shit, that's a long time. My girlfriend of 4 years broke up with me due to mental health problems, and now I feel like shit and empty inside. Was it her mental health problems or your mental health problems? Because if it was her mental health problems, then you're probably better off. If it's your mental health problems, then you might also be better off as well, because if she's gonna break up with you because you have mental health problems, then she probably wasn't a keeper in the first place. Hers? Okay, you're probably better off. If you can get a clean break from a girl with mental health problems without, like, having her threaten you with, like, suicide and stuff like that, then you're probably doing okay. I say this as someone with exactly zero experience in dealing with human relationships, especially romantic relationships, so I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's just my general opinion on stuff. Femboys can't get pregnant. It's a miracle your mom has hope you'll marry. My mother does not have hope I'll marry if you're talking about me. My mother has openly told my father, like, you do realize he's never going to be able to marry or have a proper relationship, right? When she was trying to explain to him that I have autism spectrum disorder. And my father really doesn't want to hear about the concept of autism spectrum disorder. I think because he's passive aggressive and it makes him afraid of like his own possible traits. So he just like leaves whenever my mother tries to talk about it. I thought she still suggests going for women to you. No, my mother has actually been extremely both on top of my Asperger's and like has not pushed me to do like anything traditional. The most that she did was being like a typical Asian tiger mom and had me do like a bunch of activities as a kid. But in general, I'm winning at life just by not having parents be like, are you gonna show me grandchildren soon? So overall, I'm doing pretty well on that regard. Sounds like some parents I know so desperate for their adult sons to get with someone, they were willing to hire some working girl lady of the evenings for them to be with. I wonder if lady of the evenings is a different category from lady of the night. She has more snuggle experience. I mean, fucking a prostitute isn't gonna fix anything. Not for me. My mom was honestly similar with me before I had my kid. She was not expecting me to willingly do it. Are both of your parents Jewish? Or is it just your father? Are you checking the whole, like, have kids to make your Jewish mother shut up box by having a kid right now? Just my father, okay. My girlfriend was a cosplayer who was dealing with constant trolls and harassment. Do you think that caused the mental illness? When I see the Japanese cosplayers that are surrounded by like 30 ugly bastards with cameras, and they're all like taking photos, I'm like, that probably is either like it's either going to cause mental illness or they already have a mental illness, which is why they like need validation. Cosplayers are always mentally unstable. I mean, a lot of it comes from the need for people to like you, right? And then if you're willing to dress in revealing clothing and let them take photos of you, that immediately fulfills a lot of mental issues, or like, you know, people who need to be wanted, need to be needed by other people. Idols are worse off mental stability than cosplayers, way more need for validation. Aren't they like in the same category though, ultimately? People who are being used by the system because they desperately want validation. And they can immediately get it just by being a relatively young female. But then there's all this like patriarchal system around it that is going to exploit you because of that. Cosplayers are vicious between each other? Yeah, I've heard about that as well. Unless you're the Gundam cosplayer that is wearing a cardboard box. That's a 1 out of 1. Nobody can take his place. If your cosplay is just wearing a box that says Gundam, you're good to go. Cosplayers are in 1 or 2 camps. The need for attention, drama, or super into crafting and just want to make shit. Yes. You are a cosplayer that is wearing a gacha anime costume that you can almost see your asshole. I am a cosplayer that is wearing a Warhammer Space Marine 7-foot tall cardboard suit that I spent 8 months creating and properly painting. We are not the same. But actually you are the same because you're both going to the fucking convention. Gaming the system to get rich? Yeah, I'm specifically talking about cosplayers that like go in to these locations in person and get their photo taken. Like, if you're doing just like OnlyFans, I'm sure there's lots of people who are just gaming the system, but never seen a bad Warhammer cosplay. Yeah, anybody who's willing to even start working on any kind of Warhammer cosplay isn't gonna half-ass it. It just comes with the territory, right? It's an entire hobby built around fucking people wasting their money to paint little toys for hundreds of hours. Those usually overlap with the first category. Yeah, I think that's correct as well. Warhammer unlocks Super Autism LMAO. Yes, you go and you give Games Workshop a shit ton of money, and then now you are allowed the opportunity to paint your own figures for 10,000 hours, and then you can play silly little war games with it and read the lore wiki. Meanwhile, if instead you choose to buy Gunpla, it's like 1/2 the price, and you don't have to paint it because it's already colored and it just snaps into place. Not that Gunpla assemblers aren't autistic. I just think that on a scale of like 1 to 10, Gunpla hobbyists are like 3 on the autism scale, and Warhammer hobbyists are like a 7. Of course, the people who achieve the 10 on the autism scale are like the toy train autists. Then you're just getting into literal autism, not even just like implied autism. How the hell do Warhammer fans have that money for all those figures? Yeah, there was a YouTube Warhammer video where they actually recreated like an army on the scale of what an actual in-lore battle would be, and it's like hundreds, thousands of figures, and then everyone in the comments were saying that like that's basically the down payment for 1.5 houses. And I was like, fuck, it's actually like, you know, $200,000. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's like crack addicts, they always find a way. The difference between the crack addicts and the Games Workshop is that if you're addicted to crack, you might be able to find a better dealer. If you're addicted to Games Workshop stuff, you have to buy everything from Games Workshop. I guess you can get a 3D printer. Whenever you go to like 40k threads, there's always like one person who's just like, have you considered buying a 3D printer? I have beaten the system. There's always one person who's like super proud that they're not wasting their money because they have a 3D printer. And I'm also just like, you're also like wasting your time though. I guess for these people, they don't feel like it's a waste, but isn't 3D printing a big no-no though? It's always a big no-no because like everybody wasted their money, but look at my most powerful Magic card that I own. I wrote this on a literal sheet of copy paper and brought it to my local magic tourney, and they'd be like, sorry sir, you can't use it. And I'm just like, but why? My handwritten Black Lotus card is just as valid as the Black Lotus card that you spent $30,000 in an auction for. I don't understand. What's the problem? 3D printer owners are the most annoying people. Remember when there was a period in which 3D printer owners kept on claiming that like this was going to change literally everything, like industry, security. They're like, no gun? Ha! I have a 3D printed gun now. No house? I have a 3D printed house now. And so on and so on. They were just like, manufacturing has been completely changed. Now everything is free online. Just download the blueprints and then print out your new car. Print out the nuclear reactor. Easy. Apparently there were actual 3D printed houses for a brief period of time, and it turned out that they weren't very good. Shockingly, who would have seen that one coming? Where would you play a Black Lotus? It's been banned for 30 years. Legacy tournaments. There's like one format in which you can play the Power 9, right? And it's just every guy has spent $100,000 on these banned Magic cards, and they're all like, 0 cost! You get 3 mana of any color. 2 mana, you take an extra turn. What is Time Warp? I can't remember. Is it Time Warp that I'm thinking of? It's not Time Warp, that's an actual card. You know, what was the Power 9? Oh, Time Walk. LOL. That's so fucking funny. This has got to be the funniest shit of all time. Like, I get a lot of YouTube recommendations of like the most broken cards, but this has got to be the dumbest fucking card design of anything. Like, I can understand like at earlier points in which like when they didn't understand game design, when they were like, oh, 0 mana, give you 1 mana, how bad can that be? Or like, oh, here's 1 card in which you draw 2 cards, how powerful can this be? But even in like what, once a year, like 1980, when did MTG come out? There's no way you can't understand how 2 mana take an extra turn isn't like the most bullshit broken shit of all time. 1993, like come on man, this is like saying that like, oh, back in the day we didn't know that nuclear power was dangerous. It's like, yes you did. This is fucking ridiculous. Imagine you had this like in chess. It was like you give up one of your pawns. Like the 2 mana cost is the funniest part, right? Think how many cards that have been banned in Magic since this that were like 2 mana, draw 2 cards or something, right? I can't remember what the standard is for where like too much card draw. Is it like if you draw 1 card for 1 mana, that's like a bannable offense in Magic? I forgot what the standard was, but like 2 mana for an extra turn to this day is the fucking most hilarious shit of all time. It's just so funny. Demonic Tutor 2 mana, search your deck for any card, add it to your hand. Is that black or is that blue? They printed a 5 mana extra turn years later and is still insanely strong. Yeah. I mean, usually when you get to like, when they do the high mana cost stuff, they always end up like printing a card within recent sets that allows you to like fucking mess around with the mana cost. I mean, 5 mana is too low. Still. It has to be like 7 mana, and there also has to be like stuff in the environment. There has to be a lack of stuff in the environment where you can just like, where you can't cheat the mana cost, you know? It was black, yeah. I feel like black, blue, and green by far are the colors in which the most bullshit happens in Magic. Just because card draw, using your 20 health resource to make shit happen, and then ramping, which again is more energy, are almost always the stuff that breaks the system. It's pretty rare in which red and white, especially white, is a problem. I feel. I haven't played much Magic, but I know red had stuff like lightning. But by far, I think blue is the most problematic color. The funny thing is that none of this shit is that big a deal compared to the crazy stuff that happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, let me show you this card. The ultra-dimensional magnetic hero dragon, and then like at the bottom of the card there's like War and Peace level text. It's just like 5 paragraphs worth of being like, when all other dragons in the field are sacrificed, search through your deck, produce the ass rape dildo of oblivion, tap all lands, draw 6 cards. This effect can only happen twice per turn. Yoshihiro Togashi wrote them cards. The funny thing is that Togashi actually made like a somewhat functional card game for Greed Island. I'm sure if people like went deep into the Greed Island cards, there were like some extremely broken combos that would have fucking crashed a real card game. But because Greed Island was like an IRL card game happening inside the manga, it wasn't like that stuff wouldn't happen. Because like you had to like fight people in real life before you could get the cards. Honestly, that would solve a lot of problems. Instead of just letting people buy cards in open packs, you had to like beat the shit out of people and there were only a limited number of cards. Like, each person only had one card, and you had to, like, literally jump them on the street and take their cards to get it. Look up Painful Choice. Select 5 cards from your deck and show them to your opponent. Your opponent selects 1 card among them. Add that card to your hand and discard the remaining cards to the graveyard. I mean, I guess... What year did they publish it? If they didn't have enough graveyard synergy, then maybe it could have been okay. I mean, I feel like I can see why the people who designed the card at the time couldn't see how this could become immediately a problem. Because they're like, oh, you have to show them to your opponent, and your opponent selects one of them. So it's like your opponent has all this control over what's going on. It did activate effects that countered when discarded to the graveyard. A lot of the problems that happen with this stuff is because, like, at the time when they were publishing them, they were treating the graveyard as, like, an actual graveyard where shit doesn't come out of it, where it's just, like, a dead space. But then they, at the same time, they would also be like, ooh, we have all this, like, necromancy themes. What if we use the graveyard to do a bunch of shit? And they were like simultaneously publishing cards for like both directions, and that stuff would always get out of hand so quickly. Like, in early stages, card games didn't understand that they were going to make the graveyard into a resource, which is why MTG, of course, had to make a whole nother concept of Banished, where we're like, we're 100% not going to let you access these cards. Konami card designers are special individuals. I mean, the number one reason why this stuff gets out of hand is because the goal is to get people to buy shit, not to have necessarily have a functional card game. The funny thing is that card was banned 20 years ago before we even had insane graveyard effects. It's that good. What makes it that good, though? Is it just the draw 5? You're only adding 1 to your hand, right? And your opponent knows everything you have. You can play some cards even if they're exiled. Yeah, that was like, they were like, you're definitely not supposed to be able to play things, but over time, they're definitely 100% shit. Eventually, it becomes a mess, and you can play shit from exile. Do you guys know about Eternal Force Blizzard? This is the classic Japanese internet meme. There's an entire Pixiv article on this. Eternal Force Blizzard originated an iconic over-the-top fictional ultimate attack The funny thing is that, if you see it, it says, the effect says, the opponent dies, It's 7 plus 5 blue mana. So a 12 mana legendary sorcery card. The opponent dies. It doesn't exist, by the way. There should have been an unglued, unhinged set card that just says slap your opponent. If you think about it, the whole, like, take an extra turn shit also applies to things like the dumbest sport of all time, slap boxing, the slap league, in which the person who goes first has, like, an insane advantage. The strategy is you just slap the opponent so hard they immediately get a concussion and you win. However, if you fail, they get to slap you so hard you get a concussion and you lose. I wonder if there's like win rate studies of the slap leagues in what percentage of people who get to slap first win those things, because it's probably pretty lopsided. Honestly, literally any kind of game in which you take turns, whichever person goes first is just going to have like a huge advantage. Getting CTE for $15, but look how think about how manly you are. Most TCGs are coin toss games. If you win the coin toss and go first, you win the whole match. Yeah, any kind of game which is both turn-based and you basically start to ramp up your power scaling is probably a coin toss game. But it's the same for shit like board games as well, right? The difference in win rate between white and black in chess is like, what, 20%? 30%? I can't remember. It's like super high. I think it's for literally any kind of board game. If you take turns, it ends up being that way. See ya. You can avoid this slightly more with sports because you have separate quarters. So you can start, whoever gets the ball in the first quarter or first half, the next team gets it in the second half, etc. But it used to be, like NBA used to use jump balls to determine possession in like so many different situations. So they were like jump ball specialists. But then they basically took that away after a while. First player should start with only half hit points. First player should start with cockball torture setup. You have to wear the dick harness. And every time you take damage, it squeezes your balls. Some people might be into that. Did we ever find out whether the guy who Magnus Carlsen accused of cheating actually had a butt plug or not? That still has got to be like the funniest technological innovation that we've had in chess and stuff of all time. I'm sure there's also like professional poker cheaters who have like butt plug vibrators who are telling them whether there's an ace on the river or something. There's no evidence. How could you know? If you did have a butt plug vibrator telling you what positions to move your pieces to, I wonder what the message system would be. It would be like, it would vibrate like 6 times to give you the coordinate for the lateral coordinate, and you know, vibrate a number of times to give you the longitudinal coordinate, and then that would just be, you just sort of look at that position and be like, oh, I should make a move there. I mean, it wouldn't be able to specify like specifically what piece you should move into what location, right? Maybe if you had like a number code for like each piece and then like move it to which position. I guess it would take a bunch of time though. Morse probably. Well, not Morse code. That would be too long. I think it would just have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vibrations. And then that would be like the piece, and then it would give you like a position. I think it's probably not that hard. Embarrassing when you have a crazy orgasm in front of everyone by accident. Guys, be honest. What percentage of you guys have tried prostate stimulation for getting better orgasms? Magnus Carlsen, by the way, sounds like a pissy little bitch. Also, I just like to point out that there's way too many chess grandmasters. I just looked into this because YouTube was recommending me a video of an annoying chud male streamer, or there was like an annoying chud guy who was complaining to a female chess streamer about, I don't know, something. I didn't watch the entire video, but they were talking about how she was a grandmaster, blah blah blah. I was like, even girls can be grandmasters, And I looked up and there's like 2,000 chess grandmasters. Because there's a chance that it could be better, and I don't want to have to require that as the new normal. Carlsen took a photo with a fan, then got her disqualified because they can't have phones, apparently. That's probably, yeah. This guy sounds like a total dick. What are the qualifications? I don't know. There's probably some ELO ranking or something. The thing is, we celebrate athletes and stuff when they're like super dicks, like Jordan punching Steve Kerr and stuff like that, but at least you can be like, hey, he's just a high-test alpha male. If all you can do is just play your silly little board game, then I'm not really that impressed. Chess isn't even that complicated. If I was trolling a chess player, I'd be like, bitch, you're literally playing the most simple of all the board games out there. Your shit was solved by computers in like the 90s. How does it feel that you're trying super hard to get good at a game that was basically solved by Deep Blue in like, what, 94? I can't remember what year it was. Play Mahjong like the real Chads. I graduate to tactical RPGs with the big dogs. We all have to play Warhammer 40k with all our painted figurines together. As usual, I saw the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm was giving me stupid shit like actual Warhammer 40k tabletop play sessions. So I watched some video of like the Warhammer 40k World Championships, and it's just a very unwieldy system that involves a lot of measuring shit with tape measures. It really is a hobby that's about painting your little toy soldiers pretty colors and being like, this is my own ultra special Space Marine unit. These are the Stardust Unicorns. They're super cool. That's why I painted them all rainbow colors. Love the maid focus today. Maids must be drawn once in a while. The Major has weird, inconsistent bangs and just like general hairstyle though. Honestly, I can't get into any tabletop gaming because that requires me to socialize with people. I've tried to have RPG sessions, D&D sessions multiple times, and ultimately I just get tired of being around people and I just stop. It goes to the same thing in which I was talking about how I want to engage in fantasy escapism so I don't have to be around other people. All the tactical RPGs I play are video games. The problem with a lot of tactical stuff is that it takes too long to get through one turn. I'm not even talking about like Civilization games that take you like 200 hours or whatever. But just like, I started Tactics Ogre, for example, and it was taking so much time to just like finish one map. I got tired of it. Not that I like RTS either. One battle of Tactics Ogre is like an hour LMAO, and Tactics Ogre isn't even that bad compared to like, I don't know, Total War. If you have like 500 CPUs and shit. One map of Tharsia 776 is 2.5 hours or 14 minutes. RTS is fast. I don't have the APM. RTS is just like you get your ass Zerg rushed by some South Korean who has 10 trillion hours in the game after like 3 minutes. Well, I am individually clicking each of my harvesters and being like, I love you, little worker drone. Let me put you in the optimal mining position so we can create this beautiful base. It's gonna be beautiful. I do that for like 30 seconds, and then I look up and like my entire fucking base is surrounded by 30 siege tanks, and I lose the game immediately. Koreans too powerful. They've chosen to not have children so they can be good at StarCraft. There's nothing we can do to stop them. My brother literally has 3,000 hours in StarCraft 2 and only plays Zerg, lol. I used to play StarCraft 2 on my Nintendo 64. Do you guys remember that? There was actually a relatively serviceable N64 port of StarCraft, not 2, StarCraft 1, Brood War. If you had the N64 expansion pack, you could also have the Brood War expansion as well, but you need the expansion pack to play it. I didn't have a gaming PC or any real PC with any kind of graphic cards, really. So I had a lot of fun getting to play it on my N64. Obviously, my APM was worse than shit, so I was only just playing against CPU, and I just played it like, I'm just gonna dick around in my base and enjoy increasing my tech tree for an hour, and then I'm gonna attack you with Ultralisks or something. I really don't like... I don't know if you would call them SRPGs, but I don't like games in which there's just a lot of menus. Like, I'm such a visual person. If I don't get a lot of good artwork and, like, graphics and stuff, if I'm just looking at a spreadsheet, it won't activate the brain cells. So I don't think I can play resource management games and be entertained. What's up, Raiders? The closest I can get to tactical video games in which I can tolerate because there's enough artwork would be like card games and stuff like that. Because at least there's card work on each of the artwork on each of the cards. That at least is enough to activate my neurons. Hello. How is everyone doing today? Man, 90s hair, it was just big. The poofiness of Motoko's hair changes on a page-to-page basis. Here, this is like poofy and jaggy. Poofy and jaggy. Kind of like frontal movement. This is later Masamune Shiro right here, I think. Here, because I guess she's wearing a suit, it's all straightened out. If you look at drawing tutorials at the time, they specifically say, like, you have to make sure that the hair is properly poofy enough. Like, if your hair goes like this, they don't like it. They're like, it has to be out here. But this is a little too much hair for me, for what I want. Doing really good. Just finished doing a Warhammer mini painting stream. We were actually just talking about Warhammer mini painting and how there's always one person who's like, you should buy your 3D printer to cut costs. Honestly, if I had to choose between Warhammer and Gundam, I'd probably go with Gundam, because I just can't be bothered to paint shit, even though once you get into Gundam, you ultimately end up painting shit as well. What I like about Gunpla is that if you spend a lot of money on buying like an extremely expensive Gunpla, it looks good even without pulling out the paint, you know? The problem is that I just don't want to have physical objects to carry around at this point in my life, especially if I'm going to move soon. I don't want to live in a world in which everything is digital and there isn't enough like physical ownership of stuff, but I don't feel like I want to participate in making sure that I properly buy physical objects either. I want other people to support a world in which not everything is digital ownership, but I don't want to be the person to prop up brick and mortar stores and buy physical objects myself. I'm very much in the you will own nothing and be happy and eat the bugs category of people. It becomes a problem if you want to live in Japan, especially because the apartments are so much smaller. Entropy has us. At least we know that the whole elites trying to get us to eat the bugs part has failed. Nobody ate the bugs, that's for sure. That was such a weird meme. Even at the time, being like, no, bugs are a great source of protein. When it's like, you do realize that we have vegetables that have protein, right? That was always just like one of the weirdest. You can't blame people for being like, this is an elite humiliation ritual. Because people are finding Lone Star ticks as far north as Toronto that they're trying to make us all allergic to red meat? Is that what happens if you get bit by Lone Star ticks? Is it like Lyme disease? A bite from the Lone Star tick can transmit the alpha-gal sugar molecule into your bloodstream. This can trigger alpha-gal syndrome, a severe food allergy to red meat and mammalian products. Isn't this just them moving up north because we have global warming and the winters aren't killing them off like they were in the past? I swear to God, every conspiracy theory on the American internet is just like conservative people who are like, there is this thing I like, and I really, really like this thing, so that means the elites are going to try and take it away. It's always like they're gonna take away our guns, they're gonna take away our trucks, they're gonna take away our red meat. Have you noticed that? It's never like conspiracy theories of like they're gonna take away our spinach. They don't want us to eat these delicious vegetables. It's always like the fucking red meat or guns or Bibles or whatever. At least Japanese conspiracy theorists aren't of one specific political spectrum, so you get a wider variety of shit like people who are literally wearing white to prevent the mind control rays. Did you guys follow that thing? I think it was the 90s or early 2000s. I forgot what they were called in Japanese. Let's see if I can find it. Haku Haku Kyo. No, wait. This is a Korean cult. During Japanese military. No, that's not what I want. Oh, this is what it's called. It's called the Panaway Research Facility. It sounds like something out of Steins Gate. These guys. Japanese version of tinfoil hats. They had much more powerful anti-5G shielding mechanism. Look how fucking doped out their shit is. They're completely protected from any kind of rays. Fully covered. I don't know what these white stickers they have on their cars are, but I'm sure they're extremely effective at shielding them. Holy shit, look at that fucking car, my god. That's so powerful. So, Panaway Research Facility was from the 1990s to the 2000s. They were wearing white to protect themselves from electromagnetic waves. They had a female cult leader who was saying that global warming and chaotic trends in society were being caused by scholar waves, electromagnetic waves, that they were being attacked by electromagnetic waves. They moved to a location in the Fukui Prefecture, and eventually they all got arrested because they were like causing violence and stuff like that. But you know, they were just like a great cult because they were so easily identifiable. Just like walking around in full white. She must have been hot as fuck. I don't know. Cult leaders are always interesting. Because that's like a form of true charisma, right? There's a lot of other people who claim to be charismatic, but none of them can actually get you to do like all sorts of stupid shit. You know that you're actually charismatic when you get people to dress like an idiot. So I guess Trump is in there as well, considering he gets everybody to wear these stupid red hats and stuff. If you're a male cult leader, of course, the goal has to be having sex with young members of your cult. But I wonder what she was doing. Red hats have been ruined forever, LOL. Did you notice that Slippy's hat in the Star Fox remake wasn't red anymore? Which is bullshit because Slippy would 100% be a MAGA supporter. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Maybe I was, Star Fox remake Slippy. Yep, it's been turned blue. See? It's been made into a jean shirt, a jean hat. And then the original, he has a bright red MAGA hat that says Slippy. Red Hat Derangement Syndrome, rest in peace. If we're going by color theory, if you have a green frog, they should have a red hat. Because they're opposing colors. That's just like basic art theory, is you want to give them like the opposing color hat. Yeah, it used to be red and now it's blue. Ooh, the water made him gay. Dog, he was always gay. Make Corneria great again? Yes. We can't have any of these damn monkeys. Monkeys are 20% of the population of Corneria, but they cause 80% of, I don't know, galactic wars. I was actually kind of shocked at the reception for the Star Fox remake and how many people were like super supportive of it. And like how many people were being like, oh, this looks exactly like I want it to look like. Because for me, it's just like absolute, just fucking clown show content. And it's just another example of how the video game industry is basically fucking dead at this point. You hate Nintendo, you don't say? Gotta say, I hate Nintendo. I liked Nintendo back when Star Fox 64 came out. That was a long time ago. What is there to like about Nintendo? Hey, hell, even people who like Nintendo don't get a say. You think Nintendo listens to their customers? They don't have to listen to their customers. They gotta do whatever the fuck they want because their customers have proven many times that they will buy no matter what. No matter what comes out from Nintendo, they'll still buy it, so... The best thing Nintendo made is an obese Kirby plush. I like the obese Pikachu plush. Although I think that wasn't on purpose. I'm sure you guys know the one I'm talking about. Holy shit, he's so fucking fat. How did this even happen? I assume that the Chinese factory when they were making it. He's so giga fucking fat in this photo. The fatter Pikachu gets, the better it is. I fucking hate how, like, the most modern Pikachu is so thin. Like, if you look up Pikachu, if you look up the newer version of him, the more recent we get, the thinner it becomes. Like this one, it actually has like a proper neck. I fucking despise modern Nintendo anime-based Pikachu designs where he's gotten a proper diet. Bring back Gen 1. This one. Right here. Green. We're seeing that he's already being corrupted by the time Yellow comes around in 98. Even Blue isn't the correct proportions. Red and Green Pikachu is correct Pikachu. No fucking neck. There were so many Gen 1 Pokemon that were just like round. Just like fucking balls. Pikachu after 2 weeks in the USA, it's okay. He needs to fatten up for winter. It's healthy for Pikachus to have a large amount of blubber. 3D sprites killed Pokemon. I actually think Pokemon was dead when they changed the art style after Gold, I guess. What comes after Silver Gold? Was it, what was it? Emerald Sapphire? I can't remember. What's Gen 3? I think by Gen 3 I was just like already out. Once it stopped being like the watercolors. Yeah. I'm fucking done at this point. Once they started making the Pokemon all like shiny and shit, I was already done here. At this point, I was already done, so I was done super early. You compare that to the art style of the previous generation, and just like the watercolor plus like the pen and ink. Up to Silver Gold it was okay, but after that I'm fucking out. I can't name the Pokemon. I haven't played that version. I only remember the OG 150. Yeah. Me too. But I'm willing to make some exceptions for this flaming hedgehog because it turned out there was official lore about him kidnapping Japanese adjacent females and taking them to his rape cave. So, feels good, man. I fucking love when Pokemon, like, the lore writers of Pokemon forget that it's a children's game and they mistakenly slip in lore shit about, like, you know, Mr. Mime hypnotizing your family and, like, fucking your mother and stuff like that. That's when Pokemon is at its best. I don't know. I don't think you guys will ever understand how fucking hype Pokemon was, because you weren't there in the beginning, like myself. This is like my I was at Woodstock moment that I'll tell my grandchildren, which will never exist because I won't have sex. I wasn't at Woodstock, but I can always be like, I was there on the ground in the 90s when Pokemon came out in Japan. I was in Japan when Pokemon came out, and I got my mother to buy me a fucking Game Boy. I was playing Pokemon before any of you losers got it in America. You don't understand. We didn't have Pokemon Blue until later. It was Pokemon Red and Green. The original colors. I still have the strategy guide, the Japanese strategy guide I had mommy buy me, because that was back in a time in which we didn't have the internet. So if you wanted to look at all the cool artwork and have like all the data on the different Pokemon, you literally had to buy the strategy guide. I mean, the main reason I wanted the strategy guide was to look at all the artwork, not because of I needed any kind of help to beat the game. Sitting on the bus with a Game Boy Color, cords connected to the tray starters. It was the only time I tolerated being around boys as a kid. Yes, the only reason why you would ever have to socialize with people would be so you can evolve your Pokemon. Now, the only format in which I consume Pokemon content is masturbating to AI-generated images of Hilda and Rosa. Don't worry, chat. The artist says that she's been aged up to 18 plus. Also, she has gigantic, massive titties. Rosa's ass is bigger than Hilda's, not gonna lie. That is changed by the artist's interpretation, and it changes depending on the situation. Cynthia, yes. Rosa and Hilda are meant for Ugly Bastard Oji-san. Losing to Ugly Bastard Oji-san in Pokemon Battle and not having the money to pay him, so they have to go to Love Hotel and have assisted dating sex with Ugly Oji-san. Cynthia is for teaching young Shota Pokemon trainers all sorts of Pokemon training secrets in the grass. And then all female characters are for the Ugly Bastard, Hypno, and Machamp. And possibly dog-themed Pokemon, etc. My son will never goon to AI art. I'm a big appreciator of AI gooning. You enjoy your Shota Hunter, I'll stick with my Bada Eco-Terrorist Pirate. I don't even know, because I've only played Gen 1. I know there's American military dude with his electric Pokemon. I can't remember any of the other trainers. There's evil guy who's trying to take over the world with the power of Pokemon, as usual. The teams got really stupid from Gen 3 on. Even the translation team is such a weird translation. The right term would be gang, but they don't want to teach kids that gangs are cool, so... Imagine poaching animals as a method for world domination. Hold on, guys. I have to travel to the Galapagos Islands so I can obtain a giant tortoise. I will now train my giant tortoise to fight with other animals. On the other hand, you have to consider that some Pokemon are literally considered to be like gods and stuff, so... There's also Pokemon whose entire existence is just showing up and immediately exploding, so... Always was one of my favorite Pokemon. I forgot what they're called in English. But the red and white Pokemon that are just balls, and they have super high speed. So they just like self-destruct immediately. They're very easy to draw, right? Electrode. My first shiny was an Electrode that exploded turn 1. Wait, so were you like shiny hunting for like 6 hours? And you were like, oh man, I want a shiny so bad. And then you're like, oh my god, I got a shiny Electro. And then like you weren't able to catch it. That was it. I like how Pokemon has successfully indoctrinated people with the joy of like gambling and stuff with the concept of shinies. Wasting your time trying to find the one rare thing that gives you no real benefits. Pokemon fans have lower standards than a polycule? Yes. Nobody has been trained harder by the corporation to accept whatever shit they put on your plate than Pokemon fans. It's pretty funny, honestly, just watching it. They will really just lap up anything that is given to them. It's especially funny when Game Freak just makes like some extremely common improvements to gameplay that have already existed in the game industry for the last like 20 years. And people are like, holy fuck, you can rotate the camera. Game Freak has done it again. What a masterpiece. Like when Pokemon Legends came out and people were like, oh, it's such a great game. It's like, no, it's not a great game. You're just extremely used to the absolute lowest dogshit standards. They were like, oh my god, look what you can do. You can throw the fucking ball in real time. Holy shit, how did they do it? It's amazing. And this is like year 2020 or whatever. And then Pal World comes out, and everybody is fucking laughing at Pokemon fans, being like, look, this literal no-name, like half-scam bait company has made the Pokemon game that you all wanted to play your entire life. And they were like, Nintendo! You can't let them do this! Sue these people! You're going to get sued! Manga major and maid outfit. It's interesting how immediately recognizable the major is just by her poofy hairstyle, even though the manga version isn't even like the most famous version of her. Nuns, maids, nurses. Japanese nuns aren't really nuns, or at least the nuns that show up in your manga and stuff. That ain't a nun. That's a stripper. Japanese nun be like, hold on, let me have this thing on the top, but let's make sure all of my fucking hair is visible, right? She has to have the standard closed eyes. Japanese nun be like this, and then she's like, let's make sure that this nun clothing is somehow so tight that you can see my nipples. And then you have to have like thigh highs. And then she's like, I take care of all of these children at the local orphanage. Standard Japanese nun. Let's give her a Morning Star. Hold on, I shouldn't have any eyes. And here's ugly bastard Oji-san being like, sister, I hear that you are trying to take care of these orphans. But surely this orphanage is running out of money. What if I gave you all of this money? And she's like, oh no, I have to do this to help the children. It's the evil Ikemen priest, not the ugly bastard next to her. There are no evil Ikemen priests. The only time evil Ikemen priest appears if it's a serious manga meant to attract the horny Fujoshi. And then he kind of looks like this. And then he's super smart Ikemen priest with wearing glasses, and women are like, yeah, he must be evil, that's so hot. Ugly Bastard gets the Shotas involved. Yeah, sometimes Ugly Bastard also fucks the children. But personally, I like it best when the Ugly Bastard actually gives them the money and supports the orphanage. And the nun is like, I must keep on getting fucked by him. I'm doing it for the money, not because I enjoy it. And she's in total denial. There is also like a lot of tentacles just in the basement and stuff. Then they kill God. Ideal RPG party. Shota, ugly bastard with money, big titty nun adjacent religious figure, an Ikemen priest, and tentacles. This is my RPG party. We're extremely powerful and we're gonna go and fight God right now. I really like the figure of the nun. It's important to remember that you need to have exposed flesh here between her habit here and then her stockings here. That, or you give them the full body bodysuit of Dragon Quest. That was always one of the great character designs. Toriyama Akira is a great character designer, but the Dragon Quest 3 this art style, this was always an absolute god tier design. Ignore the male, nobody gives a fuck about the male priest, but this one right here, where you just know that beneath this big thing, she has big fat titties underneath with a giant fucking mace. Rest in peace, Toriyama Akira. I will now go masturbate to monster fucking porn of this character. Right up there with all the bikini armor warrior and stuff. What if we lived in a theocracy where all the nuns had big fat titties underneath their habits? We would have to go to the confession booth at night and be like, "I'm sorry, sister. Every night I have sinful thoughts." And she's like, "Oh, what is that?" It's like, "I think about masturbating to the sinful body of all the nuns in this church." And she's like, "Oh my. Doki doki." It's funny how the thief and stuff are also sexy. You never really see the bunny girl design, right? I forgot what the English term for it is. The asobini, the gadabout. What a weird term. I've never heard of that. You always, they're never in the party nonstop. They always become the upper tier. There, you always get the sage. There's 10 million sage hentai and so little bunny girl hentai. It's one of the rare occasions in which the non-sexy class is way more sexy than the sexy class, and everybody goes for the non-sexy class. Skirt is so fucking short. My god. This is just asking for big troll dick right here. Why is Bulma a priest from Dragon Quest 3? Toriyama only has 2 face types, honestly. Toriyama does so much with so little in terms of character design. It's really amazing. He only has 3 or 4 different ideas. He has massive amounts of same face. Everyone has similar headbands with that one jewel design. Everybody has different variations of capes. Everybody has she's wearing the same boot type as Goku wears in Dragon Ball. He really only has 1 or 2 moves, and yet the way in which he combines these various different art items makes each of the designs look distinctly different and uniquely memorable. If you ask anybody else to do it, what he does, it would just fail so horribly, but for some reason Toriyama can pull it off consistently. That's just genius level character design, honestly. It just doesn't make sense why it works. All right, guys. I have to watch NBA. I will continue working on Maid Motoko. Giant eyes or narrow eyes, sleek or poofy hair. All right. See you guys. Have a nice night. Good night.